Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Isaiah, and in this video, we're going to talk about how much money we made this week, the remaining contracts we have open, as well as a look towards next week. So, first thing, by end of week, we'll have collected just over $600. I say it that way because we have dividends that announce their ex-div on Wednesday but won't hit the account till Friday, so I factor them in to part of our weekly pay. The only move we made today was we rolled one position. So let's look at our history. We rolled ALT, our short put. For those that are new, when you sell a put, it means you agree to buy the stock for the price that you select. The strike price, you're agreeing to buy it for that price. Because you do that, you get paid a credit. When you sell a covered call, it means you're agreeing to sell a stock for a predetermined price, and because you do this, you collect a credit. So in this situation, ALT, I sold a $6 put, which means I'm agreeing to buy it for $6. Well, it was trading a little bit below it, and I didn't feel like letting this one get assigned and selling covered calls on it, so I just rolled it out another month, collected $65 in credit, and that adds to our current week, which, like I said, will give us just over $600 collected between our other options and the dividends we will collect. If we go back to our main page here, as you can see, the account's at $49,608. So the market had quite a downturn. We made money on the down. We're making money on the way back up. That's just how we do it. So let's look at what we have left. First, covered call on run for $6.50. That means we're agreeing to sell run for $6.50. Unfortunately, the stock had a huge run up. I was hoping it would stay below or at least close. If it's close to $6.50, maybe at $7, we could still roll this position and collect another credit, but it ran up too high. It's currently trading at $8.60. So unless we have a huge down day tomorrow, unfortunately, we are not going to be able to retain this share, this contract, so I agreed to sell it for $6.50, so someone tomorrow will buy it from me for $6.50. So FCEL, this stock had a downturn on me. I agreed to buy it for $6.50. I'm not going to roll the position. I'm just going to let it get assigned to me, and I'm going to sell covered calls on it until I make that money back. And that's how it works. When your stock runs down, there's always a way to make money with it, make your money back, and then some. And then finally, we have two contracts open of CLSK. I am not going to roll this position. So if it trades above $8.50 tomorrow, it will expire worthless. But what I want to happen is I want it to stay below $8.50 and they get assigned to me. CLSK has some nice premiums for covered calls. So let me show you an example here. So if I would have to purchase for $8.50, again, I sold a put and I would collect a credit every time I sell the put and roll the position. And according to CLSK, this contract alone, I have collected $400 from the original investment. That includes selling the put, and I probably rolled the position 2 or 3 times. I don't know. I never keep track. But I want to let it get assigned. And here's why. If I let it get assigned for $8.50, I agree to buy it for that. I'm going to sell it for next Friday, $8.50. And I know it'll go down as we get closer to it, but if this would be the case, I would sell a covered call at the $8.50 strike. The last trade was $66. You can see that right there. So let's just say that was my trade. I got filled at the last trade. That would be $132 for my 2 contracts I would collect just for agreeing to sell it for $8.50. And that's in addition to the $400 I've already collected for the contract. So that would mean I would collect around $532 from this original position. And of course, by next Friday, it could come down far enough that I get to sell covered calls on it again. They had earnings today. They weren't great earnings. That's kind of why it had a big drop down overnight. And by not great, honestly, they were kind of bad. Bitcoin miners never have great earnings in my opinions. my opinion. But CleanSpark or CLSK definitely had pretty bad earnings. Their revenue wasn't where I thought it would be. That being said, the market's kind of in an uptrend, so even with bad earnings, I don't think it'll fall too far, and I'm good with owning it at $8.50. Literally, like I said, I've collected $400 from it, so I could sell it for $400 less and still break even if I wanted to, but I won't. I'll just keep selling covered calls and make tons of cash that way. But as I said, $602 so far this week. I might open one position tomorrow, depending how I feel. I never overtrade. I've already met my $550 goal. If I would open one tomorrow, it would be a really cheap premium and a cheap play just for fun to close out the week. But I'm not going to overtrade, so if I don't see anything, I won't force it. I had a couple people send me some of their plays today, and I love that. One of the ones that I really liked was Warner Brothers. I didn't get into it because they did have terrible earnings and they're still up. So I expect a pullback on them, and then I'm going to make an entry, especially if I get a nice premium like that. That's kind of another reason I love earnings weeks. The premiums are a lot better. So, maximize earnings time, that's for sure. But yeah, that kind of concludes the trading portion of the video. If you want to stick around, we're going to talk a little NBA. So my Cleveland Cavaliers, Ohio guy, we keep blowing leads. 20 points, and we still blew it. 7 points up with a minute left. We couldn't get it done. Similar to Boston, they've blown two 20-point leads to the Knicks. The Knicks, I love the way they play. They hustle hard. They were 0-8 against the Celtics and Cavs, so pretty much everyone was like Celtics, Cavs, Eastern Conference Finals. And I said the same thing. And it could be the Pacers and the Knicks. I don't think it will be. I still think the Cavs are going to win in 6. I picked them to win in 6. I just didn't pick them this way. So as long as they win the next 4, they still win in 6. I'm sure Boston's going to win in 6. At some point, they're not going to miss so many free throws. And on top of that, I feel like they got to attack the basket. I don't know what they're doing. So those have been fun. Tonight's game, Timberwolves, Warriors. No Steph Curry tonight. I feel like the Timberwolves win pretty big. And I love watching Anthony Edwards play. He does remind me of Jordan in the 90s. I know, not the 80s. Now, you know what? Jordan in the 80s, not the 90s. That's what I meant to say. Jordan in the 80s was an incredible player, but he was losing in the first round. Immense athleticism, but didn't have it yet. Didn't have that mid-range game. Didn't have a lot of those things. And that's kind of what I'm seeing Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is a better three-point shooter, but he has a long way to go. So I definitely can see the Jordan comparisons. But if you've ever watched Jordan, I promise that the gap is huge. The gap is huge. But a lot of people, especially the younger ones, they think that LeBron are better. And I'm an Ohio guy, but I watched Jordan, I watched LeBron, and Jordan at his peak was far superior to LeBron at his peak. Now, LeBron's going to set every NBA record because of longevity. But if you're asking who had the better career at the top, Jordan from 91 to 93 was unreal, just unreal. And I would say LeBron 2009 to 2012, amazing peak. But again, not Jordan. He couldn't do the things that Jordan could do. But yeah, sorry, getting a little rant there. And I know people probably are only watching the stock talk, but I love talking NBA when it goes on. Love the games. Last thing, look ahead to next week. Tomorrow we'll go into deeper on it, or over the weekend, because tomorrow we'll do our running total for the last 15 weeks, see where we're at. But look into next week. We have 3, 5, 7, 11, oh boy, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Okay, so I have 28, 28 contracts open for next week, set to expire. So there'll be a lot going on next week, and we'll play it by ear. Most of them are covered calls, unfortunately. Oh, boy. A down market is a lot better for a covered call, so I don't want to get these shares called away. But we'll see what we can do. But that concludes today's video.